skydiving. This is amazing.
Yeah, but you know what else is amazing? An iPhone 6S for just $49 at Metro.
Really?
Imagine streaming all the way down with that amazing camera. I'm switching.
That's smart.
You know what else is smart? Parachutes.
Switch to Metro and get an amazing iPhone 6S for only $49. Metro by T-Mobile. Phone offer requires port-in of number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformations. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I'm your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx speaker, business positioning strategist, and author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 63 countries, such as the U.S., Sweden, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Malaysia, and even the Russians are listening. So I want to thank you to those listening from around the world. Life Transformation Radio is all about our transformation. Here is where we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing. We highlight that transformational moment that has changed our lives and how we use this to help transform others and elevate their lives as well. Now, you can listen to us right here on our home network on blogtalkradio.com, Blog Talk Radio, and you can listen to us live Tuesday through Friday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can join our Facebook community, Life Transformation Radio community, and please subscribe, rate, and review the show wherever you're comfortable listening to podcasts, but most notably on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn, Player FM, Radio Public, Overcast, CastBox, and the Google Play app. Subscribe wherever you're listening. On the show, I have entrepreneurs, speakers, other business owners, coaches, and podcasters who are doing amazing things in the world and are impacting the world around them. And my guests, plural, today I have two guests on the show, do exactly that. If you have any questions for anybody I bring on the show, this is a live show, so call in at 657-383-1109. Again, the number is 657-383-1109. So please help me welcome to the show the podcast hosts of Hustle and Flowchart, Joe and Matt. What's up, dude?
What's happening, man?
Thanks for having us.
Dude, I love having dual guests because the conversation gets so good that you kind of start stepping on each other and you're like, wait, what'd you say? And then it gets so funny and so energetic, and there's more energy going on in this show. So I'm stoked to have you guys, man.
Yeah, man. We're stoked to be here, and yeah, Matt and I, we always have a dual show, so you hear we always, I don't know, it's an interesting dynamic, so it's always fun.
Yep. And it's a skill, man. There's a skill, like you can't have somebody too dominant, but then you can't have somebody too quiet. Like it's a balance. It's a balance. Definitely. Having like the two hosts, and then you have like the guests, or if you guys do like two guests and two hosts, like that would be super interesting.
Oh, we've done it a few times recently, actually.
Yep. That was interesting.
Those are always interesting. It's interesting because with Joe and my personality, we're both really kind of into sort of different things. You know, we're both into business, entrepreneurship, marketing, all that kind of stuff, which is what our show is about. But we both sort of take the topics in different directions. Joe tends to take the topic more like philosophical mindset, business fundamental type stuff, where I tend to want to take the conversations much more tactical and granular and figure out how things work and dissect systems and things like that. So it makes for really interesting shows because you get both of those points of views, talking to our guests. So you'll have some shows where it's like the guest is more of like a mindset-y type person, and Joe will do 90% of the interview questions, and I'll kind of just jump in from time to time. And then we have some episodes where it's like really, really tactical episodes, and those ones are kind of more me, and Joe just kind of jumps in from time to time. But I would say, most of our shows is a pretty even mix of both things, which is, I think, what makes it pretty unique.
Very cool, man. I like the behind the scenes kind of mindset, into the dual host, man. I love that, man. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. So this episode is titled Evergreen Profits with, and Joe, your last name is say your last name for me.
Yeah, it's like Fier, like no fear.
I thought it was Fier. I was like, I don't want to say like Fier. Yeah, I don't want to mess up people's names, so I'd rather just have you do it. So Evergreen Profits with Joe, Fier, and Matt Wolfe. Joe and Matt are the co-founders of Evergreen Profits and absolutely love showing people how simple it really is to get seen online in competitive industries. They get pumped up to share their system of driving targeted traffic that turns into leads and sales to business owners who want to scale, but have failed in the past. They aren't an agency. They're actually pretty much like an anti-agency. They started together 12 years ago as bloggers together while working for Matt's parents' shutter company and haven't stopped learning, testing, or scaling. They all started their podcasting career in 2010, and it's been their passion ever since. Now they have a fast-growing small business podcast called the Hustle and Chart Podcast. It gives listeners an opportunity to learn uncommon ways to live and work that allow for a happier and more profitable life. Joe and Matt like to bring new perspectives to existing beliefs and give folks a new way to live and work. They also consider themselves super affiliates, generating over 7 figures per year in affiliate revenue. Holy smokes. Significant business achievements that they've had, generating $1 million for themselves, $100 million for themselves and their clients. One of the startups they helped build was actually sold to Kodak, and they've interviewed hundreds of successful marketers. And speaking of marketing, they've dialed in a traffic strategy that requires a tiny budget and allows you to be seen everywhere to the people you want. 250,000 reach per marketing with their marketing channels, and it's growing. But they also have a podcast that is the most respected and quickest growing in the business marketing space. It's called Hustle and Flowchart. hustleandflowchart.com and check out evergreenprofits.com. Specifically, I need you to go to evergreenprofits.com/transform. Okay? It's evergreenprofits.com/transform. That is the link I want you guys to click on right now. Save it, mark it, and divulge into their content. It is amazing.
Right on, man.
And so, what's up?
Thank you. No, that's amazing. Sorry for a long intro there, but you covered a lot.
No, man. I got to give you guys the props, man. You guys are doing amazing things. So my first question that I always ask all the guests, okay, and Matt, I'll hit you first. What is your why for what you do? What is your deep why?
It's an interesting question. I feel like my why has changed a lot over the years. It's kind of this ever evolving why. My current why is really just it's fairly simple. I want lifestyle and time freedom. I've got a wife and 2 young kids at home, and I really just, my why is I just want to be able to spend more time with them and less time working. I want to spend time with the kids, and I want to travel, and I want to create new experiences, and that's really my current why.
Perfect. Oh, what's your why?
Yeah, man. So it's very, very similar. We don't have kids quite yet, but building a business is just time consuming, can be really stressful. So my current thing is I want to get out more. I want to travel more. We're actually leaving for a trip on Saturday for a week, but the current thing is let's for me, it's not to get bogged down with business and to experience life fuller, but also give back a lot more. We do a lot of nonprofit type stuff, foster kids. There's a lot of documentaries, or there is a documentary we're working on, my wife and I. Matt and I like to give back to the education type spaces. So really providing a lot better education, not only to our people, but also to people, young millennials and kids kind of getting out of high school who want to experience entrepreneurship.
Very cool, man. Very cool. So I don't believe that life is all sunshine and rainbows, and I definitely believe that we've all had our ups and downs and roller coasters and those moments that really questioned our purpose or really questioned exactly what we're meant to do. So, Joe, we'll go right to you, man. What's a transformational moment that has put you on the path to what you're doing now?
That's a good one. And it goes back to what my personal why and Matt and I's why are so similar, but they have these subtle differences. It was last year we actually brought in a foster baby into our family. We haven't had kids before, but she was 4 days old. We got picked her up at the NICU at the hospital. So we had her pretty much since day one and had her for 15 months. So she actually went back to her bio mom. And it was that aha moment where I'm like, okay, I can't just do business stuff all the time. I can't just think business. But, there's a bigger purpose to serve not only our family and, this one kid, but there are so many other people out there that are in much worse situations. And, it basically opened my eyes. I'm like, okay, I have a lot more to give than what I'm currently doing my day-to-day in the business. So it showed me barriers, to like, okay, not overwork, think of leverage better. How can I leverage myself with automation, systems, teams, and then feel like I have more to give, not just, all right, I did my time at work, I'm good to go, let's go chill out now. So it's
wow.
Yeah.
I got 4 kids, man, and our baby is a year old. I just... I can't imagine having a child like in your home and then having to give it back. You know what I mean? Or maybe it just, okay, time's up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it was the hardest. So this year, in all honesty, has been the toughest I've ever had. My wife and I know Matt's heard me say it a lot, but it's like it's opened so many aha moments for me where I'm just like, wow, okay, I have a lot more in my personal life I need to work on, or that I can work on, luckily, and that's what I'm focused on right now. And now that we don't have a kid in the house, I'm like, cool. I've had that experience. It's been really rough, giving her back, but I learned so much. She was my greatest teacher that now I have this opportunity to shape my life in a way, along with Matt here, my wife, and everything we're doing. So when we do have our own kids, we're ready for it. And I'll have my brain kind of wired in the way that's ready to bring in another life.
Right. Yeah. I always believe that everything that we're going through is preparing us for where we're going to. And eventually we'll reach that place and we get tested sometimes, like we give a little bit, we get, okay, now here is it all, here it is laid out for you. Like, this is why I put you through what I put you through. Universe has a weird way of doing that.
It does.
So maybe it's kind of testing you. Maybe it's
it is, man. Yeah, and it's the more, I've been just kind of just trying to let go of more, and obviously she was one of them. It wasn't our choice to let her go. We would have loved to keep her on forever. But it's definitely a test, and you realize, all right, well, if you kind of take your hands off the wheel a little bit, more or less things work out just fine or even better.
Right. Wow, man. That's nuts. Matt, what about you, man? What's a transformational moment that has changed your life and has influenced the decisions you make today?
Man, well, first of all, Joe's a really tough person to follow with this specific question.
Sorry.
So for me, I mean, there's a handful of sort of, mindset shift catalysts that have happened for me over the years. But probably the one that I talk about the most was back in 2009 when I was still working at my day job. It used to be our family shutter company, like we mentioned earlier in the episode. My parents, they were entrepreneurs. They built a shutter company. They grew it to a $2 million a year company, and it was a good sized company. And then in 2008, when the economy took a turn, the finances started to get a little rough with the company. For some reason, when people stopped buying houses, they stopped buying window coverings for houses. The company was hit pretty hard. And so my parents opted to sell the company. And a new owner came in and basically fired my mom, fired like half the employees, kept me on because I was kind of the one running the company at the time. And the new owner that came in, him and I just butt heads. We kind of got into fighting, screaming matches on almost a daily basis. And there was one day specifically that I'll never forget. I was sitting at my desk and I was eating a Subway sandwich, and he came up to me and he just started screaming at me at the top of his lungs for eating at my desk. Like, that was his reason he was pissed off. I'm sure he was pissed off about some other thing that happened in his day, but I was his whipping boy at that moment. And I basically told him to F off, and I didn't censor myself, but I told him to F off, and I left. I walked out of the company that I sort of helped create, just all in one moment like that. And from that point on, I decided, you know what, I am never going to work for somebody else again. I'm going to figure out how to create my own income, create my own wealth, do it all on my own. I mean, I'd gone 10 years by that point working in the family business, where I had fairly decent time freedom and some liberties that other employees may not have had. And so when a new owner came in and just shifted my world around, I decided that's it. I need to go the entrepreneurial path. I'm sort of unemployable at this point. And so that was a big sort of shift in my mindset of, I'm going to figure this out on my own. I'm not going to rely on other people anymore.
Famous words from an entrepreneur. I'm unemployable.
Hey, once you get for the life, it's hard to go back.
I don't know if it's a problem with authority, or we think we can do it better, or we just are so comfortable in our skill set, that we're just like, screw you, dude. Like, I don't need you. Like, I work because I need money, not because I need this particular job or this, whatever. A lot of friends that I know, like, that have maybe a job on the side, or they're building a business on the side, or whatever, they're like, oh, that job is funding my side business. Like, that's my investment. And then and then it eventually takes over, and screw you, 9 to 5, I'm out.
Yeah.
What do you guys think it is?
Well,
go for it, Matt.
Well, I was going to say, just to add to that story a little bit. So Joe and I actually started our business together in 2007. I didn't quit that job till 2009. So, you're spot on with the sort of thinking of, like, I don't need you. You're just one of my paychecks. Like, that was kind of the thinking that was going through my head. Joe and I were already running a business by that point, and we were already making income on the side. That sort of gave us the confidence, because Joe quit his job around the same time. By the time I quit, he wasn't working at the company anymore. But we both quit our respective J jobs at the same time because we had built all this stuff. I can't really put my finger on it. I know for me, I grew up under entrepreneurial parents. So I grew up in a family that had time freedom, that had sort of some financial freedom to a degree. I mean, we were not wealthy by any means. We were middle class, but they had the time freedom. We were able to take vacations once a year and, have nice things and stuff. And, having that growing up, I think it was just ingrained in me that I don't ever need to work for somebody else. My parents didn't have to work for somebody else, so why would I? And so for me, it was just kind of, I think, almost like programming while growing up.
Yeah.
Joe?
You definitely had it, Matt, because I was raised in also a middle-class family, but my dad kind of was a stay-at-home dad who had some odd job type things, but my mom was kind of the breadwinner. And it was very weird. As a kid, I was always, and I'm not really money-driven, but for some reason as a kid, I remember like 10 years old, I'd tell my mom, like, I'm going to make more money than you. I'm just like, she's like, good, do it. I'm like, okay. So my big breaking point around the time, it was right around the same time Matt was, that was all happening. It's kind of funny, like Matt and I quit our jobs, I think within Matt, like 6 months of each other, 5 months of each other.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty close. I don't know the exact time frame, but pretty close. Same year.
Yeah, and for me, I was in a corporate position in San Diego at a construction company. I just remember seeing these lifers, the people who have been there 20 plus years. Anytime you try to talk to them, they kind of look at you with these like demonic eyes, these zombie eyes. You're like, what are you doing talking to me about work? I'm like, sorry, I don't want to be that guy in the future,
Yeah.
So it was that. Yeah, and like Matt said, we always had these blogs on the side. We're making trickles of income coming in through affiliate offers and ad revenue. And that gave me the confidence, along with Matt, because he honestly introduced me to a lot of this entrepreneurial thinking that I didn't really have growing up. So him and his dad were good mentors for me to get that, like, there's another possibility out there. And I'm getting these hints, from ad revenue and affiliate cuts where, like, okay, so I guess we could do more of that and the money will follow. And sure enough, it's kind of put trust in what we knew would work. And, we stuck with the same thing forever. We experimented with everything. But, it was just one of those, like, screw it, let's do it. What's the worst thing that can happen? Go.
Started every single story. What's the worst thing that can happen? Or hold my beer. Every story ever was like, all right, what happened? Hold my beer. And then,
Yeah.
I got an entrepreneurial mom. My sister's an entrepreneur. My uncle, my aunt. Like, I mean, I have a deep, it's all my mom's side. My dad's side all got jobs. Except for my grandfather. He was actually a legal drug dealer. He was a pharmaceutical rep. That dude made bank. Like bank. That dude made bank. And all he did was go and peddle drugs to hospitals and clinics,
Wow.
And it just, I mean, he was so good at it too. I remember when I was growing up, he had the 3-piece suit and the cowboy boots because he's from Kentucky. And, he would just stroll up in there with his twang, and they would just buy. He's like, oh, sale, I'm like, what in the world? Like, what do you do? I mean, he'd be on calls all night long. It'd be 8 o'clock at night. My mom picked us up because we were visiting our grandparents. My mom picked us up because she was working. My mom worked like 2 jobs when I was a young, and then she said, screw this, dude. I'm done. I can't do this no more. And built her own business. But, I remember my grandfather would still be on the phone all the way to like 8 o'clock. And I'm like, wow, dude's working. And now my wife is like, you're still on the phone? I'm like, it's only 7:30. Been on the phone all day.
Well, what you're doing, Sean, is awesome, man. I mean, like, we met back at New Media Summit, and I've seen your name around, heard the show and all that stuff, and I was like, but I didn't realize you're active duty still, and just doing a lot, and I don't know, and that just reminds me again, we all got more in the tank, like we think we have this threshold. I'm not saying everybody should hustle and not sleep, but there's so much more we're all capable of.
Well, here's one thing that I think Joe and I run into, and I mean, Sean, you might be able to relate, is that we legitimately love what we do. So a lot of times what we're doing doesn't feel like work to us, and then we'll let that get away from us, right? So I love getting in and creating like little automations and driving traffic and writing content and interviewing people on podcasts and all of that stuff. I love it. It's kind of become the only thing I want to do. And so I do have days where I'll notice I'll be working and I'll look up at my clock and I'll be like, holy crap, it's 1 a.m. I really should go to bed, right? It's in the same sense that if somebody, like, let's say you're really, really into snowboarding or something, right? You don't really think about how much time you spend doing it if it's something that you love. And so that's actually been a tough transition for me once we finally had kids, was that transition of, yes, I love it. Yes, it's my work and my hobby are sort of blended together, but I do need to figure out how to limit myself and cut myself back and not work so hard. And when I'm doing it, I don't feel like I'm working hard. I just feel like I'm having fun doing what I do. So that's sort of actually been a bit of a struggle. It's weird to say, but it's a struggle enjoying what I do so much.
Nice. So I totally get it, man. I totally get it. You know, there's this whole saying that people debate, right? It says if you do what you love, you know, it's not really work, right? So it's like if you find something you love to do, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yep.
Yes, I agree with that. I know what it says. I understand and I internalize it. And yes, I see that. However, there are things that three of us do that we absolutely hate that is just part of the business. We understand that it's just part of what we do.
Yep.
You know? But you have to see that good and bad, right? I mean, I know people, I only do what I love. I outsource the rest. I'm like, hey, that's cool. Do that. But then if you're only doing the same thing over and over again, then you start to get burnt out. Then it just starts to feel the same old stuff, the emotions. I like getting pissed off. Like, why isn't this working? Like, I just need one graphic. That's all I need. Or like, a guest will cancel or something will happen. Like, oh, what the freaking crap. And so I like the monkey wrenches that come in because it just hones skills a little bit more and say, I know what to do. Crisis mode happened last time. I can fix it.
Yeah. No, that's actually that's something we're literally going through in our business right now. Our goal for Matt and I, as like the two of us in our business, is to only work 3 days a week, and are to, you know, think deeper, learn, meet with people, do more podcasts, stuff like this. But it's almost like we actually did our podcast yesterday, and a guy was describing it as exactly what you said. These things in your business that might be eating at you, but you feel like you have to do, or maybe it's something you just don't quite enjoy, but you're just doing it in your business. It's death by a million cuts. So for me, it's like, okay, swamped with emails, or we do a lot of customer service and sales type stuff. That's more of my role. So it's honestly so many conversations where it takes me away, from some of these bigger value roles. So, Matt and I literally today are building out, and Matt's doing the automation side of stuff where we could systemize a little of that. So, like what you said, you can get yourself out of these things if you are probably in it for a bit, so you know what are the common things you can outsource or automate or maybe just kill, just not do anymore. And, that's pretty much how we're going to get to that 3 day a week thing.
Yeah.
We're almost ready.
There's no secret to success. There's just systems and strategies. That's it. There's systems and strategies that need to be put in place. Because when I first started my show, I'm not even joking. When I first started my show, I'm like, Joe, Matt, would love to have you guys as guests. Would like to have, come on, Joe, like, come on. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, cool. I have this date and this date and this and this date and this date, and just pick one of those days and then just put it in the calendar, and then we'll just pick that date, And then like 10 episodes in, just a lot of work. And then one guy was like, hey man, dates. I'm like, oh, it's this day. And he's like, okay. Do you have like a link? Or I'm like, what kind of link? I don't understand what are you talking about? So now, after that moment, I was like, Calendly, you're my new friend.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I was manually scheduling everything, and it sucked. I was like, there's got to be a better way. And I'm like, scheduling, and like, I'm Googling things. I'm like, oh my God, this is dumb. Because I'm all about the system and strategy, like what is the way forward. And one of my guests was like, dude, love Calendly, you got to use it, check it out. I did, set it up, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm going to send you a link. Can you do it all yourself? This is awesome.
And it figures out all the time zone stuff for you, which was a pain in the butt. Because I used to my old co-host of my old podcast lived in New Zealand. So he was like 400-hour difference. And we had to figure out how to schedule guests. So that was, figuring out the time zones for you is such a small thing, but you don't realize how much it helps you.
Oh, man, that sucks. So it's like a 12-hour difference.
Is I think every business owner, even if you're just starting out or been in business for 12 plus years like Matt and I have been, I mean, you're always going to run into these same kind of things where you're just like, wait, there has to be a better way. But it usually isn't until, you've done it for a while where you're finally hitting your head against the wall and then forcing yourself to find a new solution.
Yep, 100%, man. So, Joe, while I got you, man, how are you currently elevating the lives around you?
So we do, our outlet, this is our combined probably answer, is our podcast. It's probably similar to you, is we try, our goal with our company, and I mean, this is both Matt and I's nature, is just to educate and give the best stuff away for free. And the more we can do that, we know it's a ripple effect that'll always come back to us. And I'll give an example, is at the beginning of this year, and maybe right at the end of last year, we were kind of taking a hard look at all the stuff we were doing, and we were doing too much. We weren't feeling totally authentic with the stuff we were. I mean, the content was great, but we didn't want to put it behind a big paywall and not have a lot of good free content out there so people can kind of learn about who we are and the cool stuff we can give them. So we literally just like, all right, screw it. We're not gonna sell any of our own products anymore. We had some affiliate income going on, so that was okay. That was paying the bills and growing. So we decided that's where, the podcast really, I think that's when we doubled down on the podcast. We really started just giving away more stuff. And what do you know? It only took maybe, a couple months, Matt, until that revenue that we actually turned off recurring revenue. We were selling a physical newsletter in the mail. We'd send it out monthly. And we turned it off. It was, I don't know how many tens of thousands of dollars per month. We just cut it off because we're just like, you know what? We're doing too much and everything's paid and we're not getting enough new eyeballs in here. So we just gave everything away for free. And I kind of turned into new projects, of course. New things get introduced to you, like, partner projects. We ended up buying a business with a partner. We ramped up other stuff, and now, the revenue's looking better, but we're actually giving away more than we ever have. So that's what I'm most proud about.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't have a whole lot to add on to that. I mean, really, it's the way we're trying to provide value to the world is just we're giving tons and tons and tons of stuff away for free. We've got a free Facebook group where people basically have personal access to us to ask us questions about their business. We've got our podcast where we try to get the best of the best in the marketing world to jump on and share their stuff for free with our audience. We've got our email list where we actually send out daily advice and tips and stuff every single day to our list. So it's really like we're like excited little kids who get new toys every time we learn a new marketing tactic. We're like, oh man, this cool tool that generates contests and virally grows our email list. This thing is so cool. And we'll just go and make videos and just share them for free everywhere because we just get excited about it. And we love learning this stuff so much that we just can't help but turn around and go, you guys have to see this. This is so cool. So, that's really our philosophy on business is just kind of share stuff and reteach what we've learned without expecting anything in return, and inevitably you always get stuff in return. You always get those connections and those business partners popping up and those opportunities to get involved in other things. Now, saying that, we do actually sell a couple courses again. We sort of got forced back into that by just based on demand. We had a lot of people come to us and say, you know what, if you guys sold a course on X, Y, or Z, I would just buy the heck out of it. And so we actually ended up following what our customers were asking for and making courses again based on what they asked for. But still, to this day, 95% of what we put out to the world is completely free.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Very cool. So let's talk about your podcast, guys. Where can we find it? And
yeah, I would say the best. So it's called Hustle and Flowchart. And you can go to hustleandflowchart.com. That actually takes you right to iTunes. But if you want to check out all the goods, we do show notes and we give away a ton more content at evergreenprofits.com. You'll see all of the episodes there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So why did you guys get into the podcast game? I know we had this conversation over at New Media Summit, and for those listening, If you have a question for Joe, Matt, or myself, the number 657-383-1109. Again, 657-383-1109. We'd love to hear from you. My team is standing by to field the calls and to make sure it is a legit question. Trust me, some people have slipped through, but not anymore. The joys of having a live show, gentlemen.
I love it.
Go back and listen to Rhonda Smith's episode. Rhonda Smith was episode like 20-something, and we had an addiction episode, and you can imagine the call that I got. So I have a team that calls just to make sure. Okay, so tell us why you got into podcast, because I know back in New Media Summit, we had a big conversation about it. New Media Summit is Steve's event where we bring in, or he brings in, podcast icons like Joe, Matt, myself, and Scott Carson, and a bunch of other people. About 30, almost 40 podcast icons are at this event talking about podcasts, living podcasts, breathing podcasts, and you get booked on shows. NewMediaSummit.net. NewMediaSummit.net. The next one's in February in Florida. Yeah, talk about why you guys got into podcasting and how it's changed things for you guys.
Matt, you want to start with this one?
Sure, yeah. So I started podcasting in 2010 was my first show. So that show made it about 10 episodes, I think. And the reason I started that podcast was I'm an introvert. I get a lot of social anxiety. I used to not be the greatest conversationalist, and to be quite honest, this was kind of early on with, I quit my job in 2009, started the podcast in 2010, so it was fairly early on in my entrepreneurial career, and I needed a way to sort of make more connections and also get comfortable talking to people and networking. So I actually honestly started podcasting as a comfort zone breaker, I guess. I started doing it because I just needed to get comfortable talking to people and asking questions and asking for help and just dialoguing back and forth with people on things. But that episode, or that show, lasted, I think, somewhere between 10 and 15 episodes. It was called the Business and Blogs Podcast. And there was something missing about it, that I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I think I can't really explain why that podcast faded, but around the time that podcast ended, Joe and I came together and said, hey, we should actually do a podcast together. And we created a podcast called the Online Income Podcast, which also started in 2010, just kind of later in the year. And that one was kind of more designed so that Joe and I could have interesting conversations. When Joe and I get together, we always have really fascinating, fun, interesting conversations. And so that one wasn't even really a guest interview show. That was just me and Joe hitting record and having conversations. The problem with that one was we struggled to get listeners, and we also really struggled to do any sort of monetization, which happens when we don't have listeners. So that podcast sort of faded out as well. And then there was, 4 or 5 different podcasts in between. And then this one, the one that we're doing now, I think we started up in about 2015.
I believe the end of 2015, somewhere around there.
Yeah. So, Joe could probably fill in any gaps that I'm missing. But my original catalyst for podcasting was that comfort zone thing. Over time, the motives for the podcasting definitely shifted.
Very cool.
And I'll let Joe go ahead and continue that, because when we started the Hustle and Flowchart podcast, our reasoning behind it was 100% a different reason.
Yeah, so the Hustle and Flowchart podcast came from essentially us wanting to, I think Matt was still probably working a little bit, I don't know, you busted through your, anxiety with people really well on the first show. But the Hustle and Flowchart was to essentially connect with amazing people and then do more of this give back stuff we're talking about. So just expanding our network. Selfishly, we want to learn from the best And we have a pretty dang good network because we've been around for, 12 years in the marketing space. So we've met a lot of great people doing some interesting things, and also some massive names, guys like David Allen from Getting Things Done, had him on the show recently. And I mean, like, these are all people that we've read their books, years ago, and now we're actually getting to talk to them and become friends with them. And the show is the complete catalyst of doing that. It's the easiest way to connect with these folks. And now, we can call a lot of them friends. We do business together as partners. And it's just the great byproduct of that is that everyone can listen to these quote unquote kind of selfish conversations that allow us to go deep with these people, because we actually care about all the conversations. If they were surface level, you wouldn't hear the questions we're asking, because we wouldn't really know what to ask. So that's where really our big catalyst, and a lot of people are the feedback when they listen to our show. They're like, holy crap. Like, you guys are super authentic, so it's our way to just, like, around. But also, we're asking really good questions that people are like, holy crap, like, I'm learning so much, and I'm laughing a lot. Like, yep.
Yeah. When we first started it, one of the things we used to say was that it was one of the most systematic ways to grow your network. It was basically an automated method of growing our network, because, we would go and record a show. When we first started the show, we would just kind of tapped all of our friends and current network. And then as the show grew, every time we had a guest on the show, when an episode went live, we'd email them and say, hey, your show is live. Go check it out. We'd love it if you'd share it. Also, do you know somebody else that would be a great fit for the show, or that would, you think we'd get a kick out of having on the show? And so just like that, we automated the process of growing our network, because every single person we had on the show was usually connecting us with one or two more people who could potentially be on the show. So we created this sort of like viral pyramid scheme of growing our network.
Heck yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. Having a podcast opens the doors. Like, I've had Bruce Buffer from UFC on the show.
I did him once, yeah.
My first year, I was connecting with everybody. I'm like, who do I need on the show? And who do I know? Who's a podcaster? And who's your guest? And who's your guest? Like, I was like all over the place. And I just started writing down like my top 20 guests, like just off the top of my head. I'm like, oh, I want this guy, I want this guy, I want this guy. And then, people started connecting with me, and they're like, you need this guy. And I'm like, I don't even know who that is, but thanks for the list, But it gives you conversations with people that you never have otherwise. Like, when I had Frank Mankiewicz, who's the co-founder of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, on my show, it was by happenstance that I was at an event and somebody said, hey, I'd like you to meet somebody. Check out this guy. I'm like, I don't know who that is. And they're like, oh, it's this guy. I'm like, oh, I know the name. I didn't know the face. Mm-hmm. And so he's on the show, and, we had a great show. And, I had Tom Ziegler on the show right after that. It was just like, this is awesome. But then I've met people that are not well known. They don't have a large network, but they're still like just as amazing, So it gives you a unique perspective. And what I like about my show, and you guys even do this on your show, it's almost like we're in a bar just having a conversation. It's totally authentic, and you're eavesdropping like a fly on the wall. You're just eavesdropping on the conversation.
Yeah, man, that's how it should be. And it didn't start that way for us, though. Like, we felt like when we started our show, the Hustle and Flowchart show, we almost we always had the intention to exactly what you're just talking about, but we felt like we always held ourselves back just slightly, because we're like, we need to be presenting in this certain way. But it wasn't until, I don't know, maybe like 20 shows or so, we're just like, screw it. We're going to be who we are. We're going to cuss when we want to. We're just going to be us. And that's when things just got way easier, and I feel like better conversations happened. A lot more people actually started emailing us because we said, hey, reach out. Let us know what you think about us, what you want to hear, who you want to hear. And we just started just kind of being more just real with everybody. And I think that also went into like how we get our emails. Like, Matt writes most of our emails, and that's kind of the language he uses now. It's more just natural speak, not this overthought about way of presenting yourself. It just makes life easier.
I actually think I know the exact catalyst of when we sort of shifted the feel of the show. And it was episode 45. Joe, do you remember what episode 45 was?
I don't, actually.
That was our second interview with Aaron Fletcher.
We were very drunk.
So we decided, you know what? We want to go start doing some interviews in person with people and actually sit around in the room, see them face to face. Now, we don't do this with most of our shows, but we do them for a handful. And so we went, our buddy Aaron Fletcher, he's got online training courses, and he's a really well-known marketing consultant. So we went to go to his office to interview him. And when we got there, he's like, hey, do you guys want to go grab lunch before we do the interview? We said, sure. So we went to a bar down the street from his office. I think we all had about 3 beers or so before deciding to finish lunch and head back. And on the way back, we stopped by a liquor store and picked up another 6-pack of beers and went to his office and proceeded to drink more beers while recording the episode. And that episode was one of our most well-received, most fun episodes. I mean, we had fun recording it, obviously, but it was also a lot of people were really, really entertained by it. And I think that was the turning point where we just went, you know what? That was an episode where we just really didn't care what other people thought about us. We just did our thing, had fun, and that was our most well-received episode. And I'm in my brain, I feel like that was the first episode where we decided, screw it. Let's just the way people get us when they meet us in person, let's be those people on our podcast as well.
Yep.
That was
That's
it.
True.
And that was a video episode too. So we've been releasing a video. It was just crazy. I mean, you just see us just like, big tall boy beers. And these are San Diego beers. So they're heavy. Heavy alcohol.
Wow.
But
that's
I mean, that's
crazy.
Still to this day, I think Aaron, the guy we interviewed, he texted us actually last Friday. We met up with him, and he's like, "The drunken podcast needs to happen." So
somebody needs to do it.
I don't know if that'll actually happen, but if we find
time.
Not since then, but I mean, in the past, 6-9 months or whatever, Joe and I have all but given up on drinking. We actually rarely drink anymore. We still do, but it's very rare these days. So I think a podcast is a good cause, though, a good reason to do it from time to time.
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
So talk about Evergreen Profits. What is it? Is it like marketing agency, anti-agency? Talk about Evergreen Profits and how people can get involved with that.
Yeah, so I'll leave this up, and Matt, cut me off if you need to pop in here. So yeah, the anti-agency, we kind of we're starting to say that more and more because we're trying to empower people to pretty much take control of their marketing and obviously their life. It just kind of trickles down. But we like to empower people with the information they need to get to where they want to go. So with our podcast, that's like a big piece of content creation for our bigger brand, which is called Evergreen Profits. And like I was saying, we're giving all this stuff away for free. So that's how people typically find us and then get brought into our ecosystem. And on Evergreen Profits as a company, we're essentially educators. That's our big thing we're great at. And we've honed in on specifically traffic, branding, things around podcasts. So we do have, like Matt said, we have some courses for sale around those type of topics that people can join to really dive deeper. We have a private community where we're in every single day. But we're also affiliate marketers. So we promote a lot of typically softwares and tools in the marketing space that will essentially help you automate, get some time back in your life and make more money. And at the core, that's what we do. So most of the stuff that brings in money to us isn't really seen, obviously, for a brand. It's kind of quietly happening around the fringes in this ecosystem we built.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I mean, Joe said it pretty well there. I mean, it's really affiliate marketing is actually our number one source of income. I like to say that because I want people who go and get our courses or look at our courses to know we're not making more money off of our courses. We're making our money doing what we're teaching. So we make most of our money off affiliate marketing, and then anybody who wants to learn how we're doing that, we have our courses. And then we actually also have another site called Homebrew Academy, which is a business that we purchased with a partner named Brad Costanza, which you may be familiar with because he was at one of the New Media Summits one year.
Mm-hmm.
So we have that business as well, which is a business that teaches people how to make their own beer at home.
Oh, very cool. That's getting big. Like, that's getting to be big business.
Dude, it's crazy. So we bought that business with Brad. Well, Brad originally bought it without going too crazy down the rabbit hole. But essentially, we saw the opportunity to put some marketing in on that business. It needed a marketing fix up. We're really good at traffic and, basically taking people down a path once they're on the site. Now we know how to capture an email list, grow an email list, all these other things that weren't really being done. So that's how we interact with that company. We're not the beer experts, even though we do like beer.
You guys are the first ones that I've ever met that have made that much money doing affiliate marketing. Revenue, like the whole thing. Usually it's like a side part of, it's a branch. Like, it's a 50, 60, maybe $100,000 branch of my business. And then I have speaking, and then I have I have not made that much. I don't think I've even cleared 6 figures in affiliate marketing.
Right. I mean, most people probably aren't talking about it either, but you're right. I mean, the thing with affiliate marketing, it's an awesome bolt-on, like what you probably do for yourself or a lot of other folks, and it can allow you to bring in, a solid stream of income that you don't have to do customer service for. You don't have to be the expert in that product. So we like to teach it as a way. You could do it as your business, kind of like we do, but you can also do it as a way to just kind of add more value to your customer base and give them some, recommend them something that's in line with what you're already doing. It's a great way to just add more income.
Yeah, I would say for most people who we're working with and we're teaching and consulting with and things like that, we're usually recommending it as an add-on. We're not saying, look, you should just go be an affiliate marketer. There was, for us, the way we do affiliate marketing is any product that we promote as an affiliate, we actually treat it as if it was our own product. So the products that we promote as affiliates, we actually build websites around the product. We build mailing lists around the product. We run Google ads and Facebook ads and create YouTube channels and YouTube videos. All the stuff that you would expect to do when you create your own online business, we actually do that stuff for affiliate products. We've built up a team over the years, and we have a lot of help to do it so we can do it at scale. But, we sort of took the approach of, if we're going to promote an affiliate product, let's just treat it like it was our own product, and this is what we would do if we were launching this today and had to get it in front of people.
I like it. I'm going to have to check out your courses, man, because, how I learned affiliate marketing was, and I'm sure that I'll hear some moans and groans, or I'll hear some hell yeahs. So here's how I learned affiliate marketing. Go to ClickBank and find products that you like and promote the crap out of them on your website and through your email list and on Facebook and social media and whatever else. Mm-hmm. So, that was it. That was it.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a hell yeah because you tried it, and that's pretty much what you started out doing. I feel like a lot of people do that. And that's nothing wrong with that one bit. I mean, some people could be super effective doing that. I would always preface, Matt and I always say, know the product you're promoting. Don't just willy-nilly do that, even though, we've all probably done that just to test things out. But if you can just refer just a couple things, even if it's just lightly promoted like you did, as long as you kind of know that's going to give great value to your customers or your prospects, then it's like a disservice if you don't do that and share it with them.
Yeah. We were actually having this debate not too long ago. I remember, Joe, we were talking with Dan a couple months ago, and there was almost this debate because Dan made a comment about how when he first started, he made blogs and he put AdSense on them, and then he graduated to affiliate marketing and made a little bit more money, and then he graduated to selling his own products. And that is sort of the sequence that most people should go in is, create content, sell advertising. That's sort of the lowest hanging fruit to get involved. Then you do affiliate marketing. That's kind of like the next best thing once you've built an audience from your content. And then finally, once you've figured all that stuff out, now you go and create your own products. And I sort of debated that, yes, the first easiest step is content plus advertising, but I would say the next best step is to create your own courses, and then the final step is to add affiliate marketing on. We were sort of debating that the order of the sequence should go in, and my argument was, if you're promoting affiliate products, they should be products that you use, that you feel like you can recommend to anybody. Like if my dad was going to start an online business next week, would I feel comfortable telling him that this is the product you need, right? So you should have this philosophy of, this is stuff that I use that works for me, that I've used in my own business. We promote business related tools. So for me, the sequence was create your own products. Once you learn what works for creating your own products, then you promote the affiliate products that support the product that you created first. So that's my sort of order of events, where I've actually heard other people mix that order of events up and say, no, you should go advertising, then affiliate marketing, then create your own products. I think you should go advertising, create your own products, then get into affiliate marketing once you've figured all that stuff out.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And
very cool. I think that's a lot of great information right there.
Yeah. A really quick example, I see this pretty often because I'm a little bit more, I'm chatting with a lot of these people starting out, is a lot of folks will have an ebook or some little low-level product, which is great. But, if you're selling like a $30 ebook or a course, I mean, it's going to take a lot of work to make a lot of money, or even decent money. So, like what Matt said there, that would be a great way to start in business, even if it's like a side gig type of thing. But, the affiliate marketing can be really where the profits are for you after that initial sale.
Very cool. So as we start to close it out, we always talk about some resources. If they want to go further with you guys, if they want to, maybe you recommend a book. You have a favorite book, a favorite, whatever. There's always resources for every single thing. So, Joe, what is one resource that either you guys have or that you would recommend someone that wants to either get into what you guys are doing for affiliate marketing, or just get into marketing in general, or even podcasting?
Yeah, so I would say a book that's had the biggest thing that impacted myself, at least, I know Matt as well, it impacted him, is Mike Michalowicz's new book called Clockwork. And he ironically bought one of the affiliate products from us, so we actually were able to start a communication with him. But he sent us that book prior to it being released. It's released now, so anybody can get it. But we read it. I had no clue what the hell it was going to be about. Read it, and I was like, holy moly, this is exactly what I need to hear, or what we need to hear right now. Essentially, all right, let's figure out how to do really good work, but get out of the slavery of like doing everything yourself. And, at the end of the day, you're going to have an amazing vacation for like a month long. And you're going to be, you're going to know that your business is taken care of. You're still making money. Your life is going to be great. So this book kind of walks you through that whole process of getting your stuff organized without feeling like you have to have a PhD in like systems and automation and all that. Highly recommend Clockwork for sure. For anybody. It's great for someone starting out too. It's probably even better because you're starting on the right foot.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's a great book. Man, when it comes to like resources and stuff, like that's probably something we can have like a whole 2-hour podcast episode on, because I've got like a library of them in my head. When it comes to books, Clockwork specifically, it's a great book. Like Joe said, all about systemization and pulling yourself out of the business. I kind of describe that book as like the more modern day E-Myth with more actionable advice. Another great book that I really loved that had a really big impact on me was a book called Straight Line Leadership. I cannot remember the author's name, and even if I did, I can't pronounce it. But if you look up Straight Line Leadership, that's a really, really great book. It's kind of like a mixture between like actionable tactics and mindset and leadership skills. And each chapter is kind of like a real quick, short hit that, gives you a really great piece of advice. That book has been really, really impactful for me, and it's one that I never really hear anybody talk about. So I try to make a point of spreading the word around about that book.
I love it. The book that I recommend everybody is Play Bigger. Play Bigger. It's How Pirates, Dreamers, and Innovators Create and Dominate Markets by Christopher Lochhead. And it's all about category design and how you can create your own market that you play in, and then you end up dominating your own market because you're the one who created the category. Like Uber created the on-demand, right? Yeah. Netflix created the streaming, and they put people out of business. The disruptors and innovators that create their own market category, and then you basically, the category that you created is the problem that you solve, and then by doing that, you've in the market to receive your unique problem because you market the problem and not the solution. So you created the problem, you marketed the problem, and then you solved the problem.
I like it.
Genius. Right? Like, hey guys, there's a problem here. Don't worry. I'll solve it. It's okay. I read the problem. You see what I'm saying?
I like that. Yeah. I mean, there's another great book along those same lines that I've read recently called Star Principle by Richard. I don't know, his last name's Coach or Coke or
Cook. Yeah,
Cook. Star Principle. Okay. Same guy who wrote the 80-20 Principle book. Really, really great book along those same lines. But I'll need to get that book as well because I love stuff like that.
Yeah, dude. Christopher Lochhead is absolutely a phenomenal being, and his podcast is called Legends and Losers. That's his podcast. And dude, the people that he has on there are like Silicon Valley, 7, 8, 9-figure earners like Jack Ma, Simon Sinek, and like Steve Olsher was even on the show. And then Christopher Lochhead was on his 8-figure show. So, he is the real deal, man. When it comes to like market categories and category design, he's a godfather of category design. And that book totally revolutionized everything I've ever done. I like scrapped my business and just started over based on that book.
Wow. All right.
I'll be picking that one up.
I'm getting that book.
Yeah, dude. Play Bigger. How Pirates, Dreamers, and Innovators Create and Dominate Markets.
Love it.
Adding it to my Amazon wish list right now.
You'll thank me, man. You'll thank me in like a month, and you're like, dude, I'm going to start all over now.
I'm about to go on a trip for a week, so maybe I'll just tack that onto my list of things to do. Yeah.
Perfect. So at this moment of the show, before we end, we always do a shameless plug. You can plug friends, quotes, websites, Facebook, whatever it is that you want to promote. This is the time. Matt, we'll start with you. Hit it. Shameless plug moment.
So if you go to evergreenprofits.com/transform, we actually did make a custom landing page there. That page, you can actually, if you opt in, you'll actually get access to a free copy of our latest book, which actually teaches a lot of our traffic strategies and how we do our affiliate marketing stuff. So, I mean, if there's one place I'd love people to go after listening to this, it's that URL, evergreenprofits.com/transform.
Love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Joe, I'm on the page right now, guys. Thank you so much for my logo's on there. The listeners of Life Transformation Radio, I'm gonna subscribe, man. Get your free book. I'm typing it in right now.
Sweet. Love it. Yeah, I'm not gonna double dip on the shameless plugs here, but evergreenprofits.com/transform. But go listen to the podcast. If you're a podcast person, Hustle and Flowchart is the name. Just search it up. You'll find it.
Perfect. So I've already traffic strategy that we use as well as those of several known experts. Boom. Got it. So just got the ebook into my email. I'm on your list. I'm on the page. It looks beautiful. So evergreenprofits.com/transform. Perfect. Love it, you guys. Appreciate that. So, Joe, give us a nugget of knowledge from you that will motivate, transcend, and inspire someone to take action today.
Oh, man. Loaded question. Give me a little news.
We ask the hard questions on this show.
I like it, man. I think, all right, so the way you just got to get out there and put your knowledge into a form publicly. Figure out whatever that is for you, which kind of medium that best resonates. If you're a video person, go to YouTube. Audio, podcasts are great. Even though there's a million podcasts, a million YouTube videos, Doesn't matter. You're your own voice. Go put it out there. You have a unique voice and a unique specialty that no one else has. And that's not some woo-woo stuff. That's reality. And if you stick with it and be real, like amazing things can come. You'll never believe who is going to be listening and watching you and who you're going to get connected to, and just kind of let it naturally happen and just see what happens. I guarantee something amazing is going to come from that.
100%. Matt, what do you got?
Mother effing authenticity. Be authentic in everything you do. That has been probably the biggest game changer for our business. You know, we used to try to be who we thought others wanted us to be. We thought we were trying to be these people that were like trying to be these gurus, you look at all these other big name marketers, big name business entrepreneurs, and you see how they interact with people and you see how they present to people, and you want to be like them. You want to try to talk like them. You want to try to use mannerisms like them. And it becomes very, very inauthentic, and people see through it. And it wasn't till the point that we started, talking on our show and talking publicly on our Facebook videos and social media posts. It wasn't until we started just kind of like sharing our whole selves on that kind of thing that people really, really started to gravitate towards us. When we share our failures and when we share stuff that really big struggles in our business and really tough moments in our life, and we're just really, really, really public about good, bad, and everything in between, that is when people start to resonate. That is when people start to go, these are people I need to follow because they have the same problems I have. They have the same issues I have. And it was as soon as we started getting real authentic, real, sharing our struggles, that people just started coming to us going, I relate to that. I relate to you guys. I love your show because how relatable you are. And also, you get people who help solve the problems. If you're sharing the good, bad, and ugly, when the bad pops up, I get 20 messages in my Facebook Messenger with people offering support and advice and help and money and whatever, you name it, people are coming to support and help. And it's all because of that authenticity catalyst.
Boom.
Yeah.
Way to drop the mic, and great way to end the show, man. Love it. Thank you, gentlemen, for being on the show on Life Transformation Radio, and I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Sean. It's been fun, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Life Transformation Radio listeners, if anything resonated with you, please connect with Joe and Matt. Go to evergreenprofits.com/transform and check out their top-rated podcast, Hustle and Flowchart podcast. These guys are creating and impacting so many people in everything that they're doing. These are the guys that you need to connect with. If you don't know anything about marketing, if you don't know anything about affiliate marketing specifically, these are the guys you need to connect with. Connect with them on evergreenprofits.com/transform. Go pick up the book. Subscribe to their podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, wherever you're comfortable listening to podcasts. Subscribe to Hustle Flowchart Podcast, and also subscribe to Life Transformation Radio. Never miss an episode. Join us live, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Tuesday and Friday. As I close the show, I always say, live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. And I call this living your brand. So until next episode, live a great life.
Skydiving. This is amazing.
Yeah, but you know what else is amazing? An iPhone 6S for just $49 at Metro.
Really?
Imagine streaming all the way down with that amazing camera. I'm switching.
That's smart.
You know what else is smart? Parachutes.
Switch to Metro and get an amazing iPhone 6S for only $49. Metro by T-Mobile. Phone offer requires port-in of number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Skydiving. This is amazing.
Yeah, but you know what else is amazing? An iPhone 6S for just $49 at Metro.
Really?
Imagine streaming all the way down with that amazing camera. I'm switching.
That's smart.
You know what else is smart? Parachutes.
Switch to Metro and get an amazing iPhone 6S for only $49. Metro by T-Mobile. Phone offer requires port in of number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.